Okay? Welcome. Let me share with you some meditation insights, and maybe you can apply one or two principles here to your meditation practice to help you make the experience deeper, more meaningful, profound, and I would say progressive. Yes. Without us having external tools. Alright? I will be approaching this lesson from the Anahata Naga principle of meditation, the Hatha Yoga method of listening to the unmade sound. Alright, but before we do our lesson, let me pose two questions. Number one, do we control the thoughts from entering the mind when we meditate? Do we control the mind? Do we filter the thoughts? No. We don't do that. If we control our mind, if we are too busy filtering our thoughts, we're not actually controlling it. We are just making it think more. Alright, so you don't control the mind. So you just allow the thoughts to enter. You may even entertain the thoughts. Alright. They will just go later on as we focus our attention to another element. Yeah. Number two, do we control the breath? Okay. Do we regulate the breath? Right. There are two forms of meditation for me. One is the active meditation where you apply breath regulation techniques. For example, alternate nostril breathing with retention and Ujjayi breath and other forms of breath regulation. But for me, those breathing methods are more active meditation, and really they serve more on the cleansing side. Alright, and not really the stillness meditation, where you just keep the body and the rest of your elements silent and steady. Right. We control the breath in meditation in a way that we make it light. Right. Breathe normally, normal breath, but make it light, thus it will not produce distracting sound. Right. But still, you're breathing normally. You can actually do it now. Yeah, you don't control it, just allow it to flow lightly. Thus, it doesn't produce much of a distracting sound. Right. Now, we don't control the mind. We don't control the breath too much, although there will be a little bit of that breath regulation, but not the technical breath regulation. It's just like we want to make it lighter. So, how do we meditate then? There is this one readily available element sitting next to us we could use to make our meditation practice really deep and profound. And this element is freely available. It's just that our mind is so busy thinking, oh, I should do this, I should do that, I should listen to this music, I should do visualization, blah, 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 that we end up achieving nothing and we end up frustrated. There's this one element. This is the sound that we should be meditating upon when we are holding the body still. And that is what we call the Anahata Nada. The sound of the unknown. It's the unmade sound. And it's been there sitting all along. We are just not aware because we are too busy seeking outside, where in fact it's beside here, literally. It's here. Right hemisphere, left hemisphere. And then some of it could be heard at the fronts of our head, the temples, close to the ears. Alright. So, if you might, sit up tall. Allow your spine to open. And then just perform 3 natural breaths. Inhale through the nose. Out through the nose. Inhale through the nose. And out through your nose. One more, your natural rhythm. Good. And then just keep the breath normal. Just make it light. So the sound doesn't get too much of a distraction. then listen. Can you hear this frequency? Listen again. Right side of the head. The frontal part of the brain, the forehead. And the left side of the head. And then listen as a whole, around the head, close to the ears. Keep your breath light, but normal. It's like the sound of the forest. Like a colony of crickets whispering close to your ears. But they're too far away. They send light piercing frequency inside your brain. Notice how the thoughts just suddenly disappear. And the breath goes even better without you controlling it, actually. And we'll rise up now, breathing in. Let the breath produce the sound again. And exhale, gently blink the eyes open. Yeah? Get that? Good. That is readily available. It's been there all along. We are just taking it for granted. Where in fact it's the most profound way to achieving deep state of meditation. The sound of the Anahata, the innate sound. It's actually the sound of your own vibration exiting the body from the nervous system, and the sound of the universal energy trying to make its way inside the body. And they produce this vibrating sound. Alright. Now, progression. Right? Is it safe to meditate upon the Anahata Nada if you are still beginning the practice? No. Alright, I don't recommend you doing that. Because you might experience high electrical levels of absorption inside the system. And if your nadis, the electrical pathways inside the body, are not open to absorb this extra electrical current, all right, it might cause energy overload. All right, it's not that it's dangerous. It's just that I don't want you to be caught up with this idea that this is enough. All right. Of course, for some people, some people are inherently sensitive to energetic vibration. All right. This method should be practiced side by side with, of course, the asanas and the less advanced breath regulation. Why? Because the body would have to be strong enough to withstand and manage this electrical current in the future, as well as the respiratory organs inside would have to be strong as well, because this inevitably in the future would lead to the state of yoga nidra, where the body will just lie down still, right, like temporary paralysis. You might even experience hot temperature or even sweat profusely as you do this, and this are manifestation of high electrical loads inside the body, and then you don't want too much of that. So the body would have to be strong to manage this electrical current, and the nadis inside would have to be open enough to absorb this electrical sensation, so it doesn't overload the nervous system, really. Yeah. All right. So when do you practice this? Actually, your practices maybe a year after your preparatory or building the foundation. A year to the practice. Yeah. When you feel the body becomes light already and the breath is flowing lightly, you may practice this. All right. But of course, you just don't stop because you've experienced this. You have to keep developing the body, because as this experience goes deeper, it will require also the body to become more stronger and the nadis to become more open, because more electrical vibrations will be flowing inside you, and you don't want to overload the nervous system. Alright, so how do you get out of the experience? You will experience actually the body will just go numb, like temporary paralysis, and the breath will even go lighter. That's enough. Alright, get out of the experience by allowing the breath to flow. Alright, and then move your hands, close and open the fist, and then start to move the whole of the body. Alright, some byproducts or some effects would be you're going to feel sore down the elbows, and practically the whole body will be feeling sore, especially the joints. Those are normal manifestations of your excess energy draining out of the system. So this meditation is a good way for us to drain excess energy. But as soon as you move your normal function, they will just go. Alright. I don't want you to go more than the yoga nidra at this stage. Alright? Because that stage will require more preparatory elements. You don't want to be suffering a sudden spike of energy inside the nervous system, which could lead to trance, or if you're not prepared for that, you might collapse. Alright? Yes, speaking firsthand, I had my first Samadhi experience listening to the Anahata nada, but I was prepared. My bandhas were so strong already, my body can handle the pressure. That's when I experienced the Samadhi experience. It is beautiful. Until now, experiencing it's never ending. It's really beautiful. But make sure your body and your organs inside the lungs, respiratory system, bandhas are prepared to withstand this electrical loads. And then this electrical loads will go higher and higher and bigger in the future. But the focus is the same. We keep meditating upon that unmade sound. Is this sound readily available for us? All you need is your body, a space to meditate. Whenever, wherever, it's always there, sitting next to us when we need it. See you next time. Namaste.